Hey, Liron here. Today is a watercolor painting tutorial for chickens. If you're a chicken watercolor painter, meaning you're just scared to make mistakes, you're scared of painting directly and boldly and all of that, I get it. I don't blame you. You're a chicken. Sometimes I'm a chicken too. So I want to show you how to paint in a very non-committal way. Everything we're going to do here is going to be very easygoing and relatively thin washes. The thing I'm painting is taken directly from the latest Watercolor Breakthrough Club live stream. If you want access to that, link in the description box below. But let me show you. I have a very watery wash, and my plan is to just basically scrub through this video. What you're seeing censored in the lower right corner is the chat from the live stream, so I'm just keeping it private. But in any case, look, I have a very watery wash. I want to just kind of scrub through the video and give you the highlights. It's not going to be a super long video, but this is a watery wash. And the great thing about it is once it's dry, you're just going to have a shape, and it's going to be a light shape. So if it's too light, you can just add on top of it. Most likely you won't go too dark because look at how watery it is. Look at my palette. It's super duper watery. But this also gives you time. So look at how I have time to design my edges, to work on them, to smoothen out, soften them out, do a bunch of different things here. Okay. Let's move it a little forward, and I want to show you. I'm painting mostly this entire right side shape, but here's something interesting. I didn't really know how I was going to approach this up until like a couple of hours before the live stream when it hit me. I just want to do a simple process that is very timid and chicken-like. Again, if you're scared to put in bold shapes, go dark too fast and all of that, you know, you just start with a shape. I know it looks strong, by the way. It's actually quite weak. And let me fast forward it a bit just so that you can see. We're really going to scrub through this process, and it's going to dry light, but already you're starting to get hints of what we're looking at here, right? This is actually a scene I gave the club as a challenge. I wanted to see how people will approach it. Every month, generally speaking, we have this challenge where I let people, I share a reference photo, and I kind of see how people approach it, and then we do a feedback live stream where I give you feedback on your paintings. Really good way to improve. You see other people's paintings, you get personal feedback on your own iteration of the scene. And then I decided, you know what? Let me paint it for everyone and show how I would approach this. So now the next kind of big glaring detail for me, you see I'm adding a bit of small touches kind of here and there. This is just us talking. I'm scrubbing through a lot of this. You don't necessarily need to see how I put each and every brush mark, but I just want to give you the outline of the process if you're a chicken, which sometimes I am too. So we're going to run through this. This was, by the way, let me see, this was a couple of days. I filmed this the next day after the live stream. But in any case, my intuition took me to, you know what, let's start establishing some other shadows around the scene. I sometimes love doing it. When I look back at the 100 Cards challenge, that's how I would paint a lot of this, by the way. It would be a lot of kind of in the moment what I feel, and sometimes it's a big surprise how I decide to approach a scene. It's not really how I myself would expect to approach it, right? So I'm filling in this background, just carefully painting around some things that I recognize as highlights. I'm going to continue this wash all the way to these shadows, and now you're starting to get kind of an idea of how we're going to approach the whole thing, right? So I'm going to do the exact same thing for some of these other shapes. This is a bit of a kind of more nuanced technique, so I pre-wet. Look at how I'm doing this. And the entire goal of the Watercolor Breakthrough Club is to show the most cutting-edge nuanced technique that I have. Members are obviously viewers here on YouTube. If you're a member, feel free to comment and just verify what I'm saying. I'm really showing there like the most cutting-edge way of that I do things in detail, like really in detail. I'm going to put a link below, the first link in the description box to join the club. If you don't want to miss the next live stream, every week we do these. You get to see me either doing a specific technique or a specific concept or painting it, and it's about an hour and a half. And I show you in detail like how I approach things. So see a bit more of a nuanced technique there. There's a nice lifting here. I'm coming back with a very damp brush, and you're going to see lifting that shape of a highlight. And then, you know, I'm pretty much continuing this wash to the taillights of the car, to the glass, the back glass. The more you do this, the more you kind of start to find your way around the scene and to, you know, understand where you are. Now I'm going to skip this car. It's not as important. I'm scrubbing my way forward here. because I want to show you what happens when I start. I'm bringing in a painting to show. I don't remember even what I showed here. Oh, yeah, I showed this painting that I recently completed. Okay, yes. So let's run it forward to when I continue doing this. Okay, there we go. So look, I'm going to add that wash to the top of the tarp, and something beautiful that members of the club noticed in their paintings, and I haven't even noticed, I'm building essentially on top of their experiences. There's a lot of temperature, baby crying, there's a lot of temperature differences here on the hood part of the tarp. It's not the hood, it's the tarp, but it goes warm, cool, because the tarp is essentially a reflective surface, silvery reflective surface. And that silvery surface basically reflects its environment. So usually what you see with the top is reflecting of the sky, but in this instance, it's actually reflecting the building around it, and the diagonal part on the windshield is the part reflecting the sky, funny enough. So the main thing here is, because we're doing a chicken technique, we're going slow, we're going light, you do want to, if you can, take care of the edges somehow. Not necessarily hard and soft edges, but know where you're stopping your shape. You want to figure out the shape and know where you're starting it and where you're stopping it. That's something I'm putting a strong emphasis on. Now look, this pressure here is important. It blends the two areas together. I am very cognizant of the main areas I want to leave as highlights. The main ones, right? So the corner of the tarp, different things like that where it really is going to make an impact, okay? Now I'm going to run us forward in time a little bit, because I want to show you the impact of starting to bring in deeper shadows, essentially. Forget about all of this optimization. I'm adding a bit of red and orange to the right side. Here's a hack for you. If your color scheme is relatively neutral, great way to introduce reds is to not paint them red, paint them brown. That way you tell the viewer this area is warm, right? But it's not gonna throw off the color harmony. So you keep it, you can make a decision that your warms in the scene are brown, or the warmest you go is like a brown orange, right? And viewers will very quickly and easily understand, okay, that's the red in the scene. So it's all about the context. Now let me run this forward a bit. I want to show you. Okay, so we're starting to put in the darks while just skipping a few highlights, areas where it should be lighter and kind of reflecting the sky. Now this is a warm shape, okay? It's going to be all warm because we're reflecting the ground, and what's left behind, and let me kind of scrub through and run forward in time, what's left behind is going to be cooler, okay, on a relative scale, right? Now look at all these small details and highlights and showing the creases of the tarp. You might start to notice that a realistic impression is emerging, right? It's not there yet 100%, but it is starting to emerge. Here it is, you see it a little from afar, but look at this chicken method, right? This is like super light. This is like, if you're a real chicken, if you're a scaredy cat, no, I'm not trying to insult you. I just thought it would be a funny, like, kind of joke for the video, because I definitely do this sometimes. That's a good way to go. Now, let me skip ahead a bit. I want to show you, okay, this is actually quite important. So I decided I want to, just for better context, find the darker darks. So whatever shadow I have right now on the tarp on the right is the darkest. Let's create a context for it by adding a darker dark. Took me a while to mix this one. I was looking for like a deep neutral blue, and this is what I came up with, and it works really well. It's a combination of ultramarine, carbazole violet, a bit of yellow, a bit of brown, pretty much everything together. What this does also is it frames the car that's in the front a little bit. You see, and I'm painting the shape carefully. This is a bit of a darker shape, so you want to make sure you just get it in one go without too much overwork and all of that. Okay, let me run this a little forward. Here I'm doing the same kind of color for darker areas around the entirety of the scene. And I want to show you, I shared this in the live stream too. This is a painting I painted in retrospect, pretty similar process in terms of my mindset and how I approach the painting process. This is from the 100 Cars Challenge. Now I do want to share with you one final touch really to bring it a bit more context, and that is anchoring the ground. So the ground is warm, let's use a brown, okay? And you'll see how this in real time does a few interesting things. First off, it gives the highlights more meaning, because right now we have a lot of paper white, and we only need that paper white in some select spots. We don't need paper white over the whole thing. So you'll notice how, as I progressed with this wash, and I mixed a huge quantity of paint, because I understand that it's very easy to run out of it. That's something you become very aware of. You go more than you think you need. Going a little stronger there on the bottom, painting around the different shapes. Look at how beautifully it just recontextualizes the paper white. And for the lower section, we're going to neutralize it with pretty much a similar mix of the neutral gray down below that I have here. It's all very organic and kind of mixed together. Here we go. You see, it's a very pale painting, and it's going to be medium to high key. But the main idea is you really don't have to go bold, go strong on the colors, go strong on anything, really. You can simply paint things in stages, in small steps, slowly get it to look darker. You don't have to do any super crazy alla prima. Just build it slowly. It lends itself really well for paintings that have a lot of small shapes in them. If you're gonna paint a portrait, you'll be forced to do one big wash in some spots. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to follow the alla prima approach, and you also don't have to follow that mechanical, like everyone does it, underpainting, wash for shapes, wash for highlights. I do that a lot too. But you don't have to do that. You can choose a hybrid, and my hybrid here was just start with a little area there, establish it well, very light, non-committal, very a wash that gives you room to breathe and doesn't force you to do anything. This isn't complete, by the way. I think it's about halfway done. I'll probably do another live stream in the club to show the rest of it. If people aren't interested, I won't, but it looks like there was some interest. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to join the club. I'm going to put a link below. I'm very happy with how it's growing very organically. People join every month, and it's just a great environment. So if you're looking for something to add a bit of accountability and maybe just consistency in your paintings, if you feel like you're kind of getting there but you're not fully there yet, this is an anchor. Every week there's a live stream. You don't have to join. You can watch the replay if you miss it, but every week you can tune in, watch me paint something, explain a concept, do some high-level stuff. I do, per demand, plan on talking more about the business side of art, the exhibition side, all of that, whatever people are interested in, really. So this is your place to learn a bit more directly from me. So I hope to see you there. Click the first link in the description box, join it. Would be happy to see you there. You get, again, the access to the community and all. Just make watercolor easier. You don't have to search in the dark. Just let me show you the path, and not just me, everyone in the community. Okay, so if you're looking for that kind of a thing. Other than that, thank you so much for your support, everyone who supports me on Patreon. If you want to receive credits at the end of the videos, that's how you do that. Really appreciate that. Yes, I will see you in the next vid.